Hey guys, what's happening? What is crack-a-lackin'? Hope everybody's having a good night, good day. Good day, mate. Sorry. Yeah. So, I just want to say hi to everybody real quick. I know this is kind of a late on a Friday night. But yeah. So if anybody came over from Marfugal, I'm not sure if he's still alive. I was watching until I started setting this up. But I wanted, guys, go check him out and stay there until he's done, if you would. I'm not sure. Matter of fact, I think I can check real quick. Give me 1 second, and I'll check, and just to see if he's still alive. If he's not, then cool. I try not to, go live when people that I appreciate are live. So hopefully, he's still alive for right now. So, or Mark Pires is live also. So please go check them out. You guys can watch me on replay, okay? Or stay here. I don't, I don't mind. I just want you guys to know that you're not going to offend me, okay? But with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump on into it. Thanks for anybody that did make it. Flamin', love you, brother. George, Trish, what's happening? Tasha, what's happening? Okay. So, we've had some satellites that were down. And, typically I don't hold too much stock in any of that, right? Hold on a minute. Okay, there I am. Wow, that was kind of freaking me out there for a little bit. I thought maybe, can I get your guys' advice on something real quick? Is that too bright? I adjusted the brightness on my my display, and sometimes when I do that, it'll, like when I use my other computer, the brightness was up way too far, and it was so bright it was like blurring out the metal, the black lines on some of the graphs I was showing you guys. Okay, you good? Okay, cool. But I'm going to say something, and I'm correcting myself here. And I'm going to do it right here at the beginning of the stream because I want everybody to kind of hear it. You get to doing things here on YouTube and everything, and you forget. You forget what you're. Well, I don't know if you forget. You just don't do exactly what you said you were going to do. And yesterday, during my stream, I was thanking people for helping me out, getting my channel started, and all that kind of stuff, and boosting me out. And I caught myself hesitant to mention some of the other channels that had helped me. And the reason why is because I didn't want to offend anybody or anything like that. But I'm not being true to myself if I do that. I'm not, I'm doing something I asked you guys not to do. So it's not fair of me to do that. And so I'm just going to, when I first started my channel, and I apologize to the people I've done this, right? And it ain't very many. Don't get me wrong. It's like one or two. It's not like a big list. First thing I'm going to say is everybody is welcome. I judge nobody from wherever they come from. Okay? I want them all here. I really do. I appreciate what they do. They may have a completely different outlook, even on life altogether. I simply don't care. If I'm doing something here, I want people to hear what I got to say. So, if I want somebody to kind of come around to my way of thinking, I need them here to do that, right? And even if they never do, that doesn't bother me. But when I first started my YouTube channel, and this is the one that really kind of bothered me because I didn't really realize I was doing it. And the first person actually had me on their show. It was Steve Olson over at WSO. Now, he doesn't run his channel at all anymore. Okay? He was probably, I think he was the biggest channel at the time in this genre. And so he had me on as a guest and stuff. So I just want to say that he helped me get my channel going right at the beginning. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because it's not, I just want to be fair and I want to be true about that kind of stuff. I didn't even realize I was doing it. So I apologize to you guys and to everybody else if anybody else thought that was something I was just intentionally doing. I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just some part of my brain. I just, whatever. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, and I won't let that happen again. Anybody that comes from any channel is welcome. I appreciate everybody's points of view. So, all right, we're going to move on from that. But I just want to say, hey, Tommy, what's up? So I started getting some emails, guys. And again, remember, we've had some satellites down. Not satellites down. We've had some communication errors between the satellite and some of the facilities that collect the data. And it really wasn't between that and the satellite. It was something different. But I'm not going to go into technical parts of that. It's not necessary. Just know we haven't been getting information from SDO for almost 2 days. Well, it came back up. So it's there, and I'm going to show you some stuff because stuff was erupting off the sun. And I'm going to show you guys some of that stuff. The first thing I want to address here is the Schumann Resonance. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this. This is the heartbeat of the planet. It's like a tuning fork, right? Hey, Conspiracy. You hit it, you get the tuning fork, and it vibrates a certain frequency. Well, the Earth has a typical one. I hesitate to call it normal, right? What I'm saying is, it's what we would expect for our biological brains. They require a certain hertz level frequency, and that happens to be right at about 7.8. Okay, hertz. And if you look here, guys, it's about right here where my cursor is. I hope you guys can see that. You guys can see that, right? Just help me out here. Can you guys see? Hopefully you guys can see my cursor here. Anyway, it's about right here. So we expect that. And if we don't get that frequency for extended periods of time or even small periods of time, it can make us sick. And not only physically sick, but it can make us mentally go crazy. I'm dead. I'm not even kidding about this. They pump this frequency into like the space station. Any spacecraft that holds human beings that are up in space, they have to put that in here. Because if they don't, they get what they call space sickness and they start going nuts. It's a well-documented thing. So, thanks, Julie. Appreciate you. Hey, Ricky, what's up? But, so we have to have that frequency to really feel normal. My grandma used to say, well, there's a full moon out. And I know that there's lots of opinions on that too. Okay, I'm not going down that road. But, what did she say? And I'm not trying to offend anybody here. My grandma used to say, hey, there's a full moon out, all the crazies are out. That's what she would say. And I know that word is taboo now. I'm not going to argue that fact. I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's just what the word she used. So, anyway, given that, that's what they actually pumped this into like people that work in the coal mines. Because this frequency is bouncing around in between the surface of our planet and our ionosphere. Okay? It's not underground. It's not, at least what we monitor isn't. And it's not, out in space. It bounces off the highest parts of our atmosphere, which is our ionosphere, and the surface of the sun. And something else I want to point out here, guys, like I said, they put it down in the for coal mine workers because they'll go nuts. They will. It's a fact. This can mess with your heart. This can mess with everything, right? And this is also, yeah, I know, yeah, for sure, conspiracy, yeah. This is all stuff that, yeah. So, we get this going on with these, what we would call, and this is a very general term, spike. If you guys really want to know the ins and outs of what's going on with this particular tool, go over to Alberto's channel. Okay? Let me go find it. Somebody drop his link in there if you would. One of my mods. He's here sometimes he's not. Sorry guys, my mouth was dry. Matter of fact, I might be able to catch it here real quick. Hold on. Let's go down here in my subscription list. And I can just, I don't want to say his channel name wrong. I can't remember exactly what how he words his channel name. I might have already passed it. I am ridiculous. I ain't trying. Okay. Schumann, let's see here. What's he call his channel? Okay. It's his name is Verte, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. But it's Schumann Resonance with Verte. That's his channel, because I knew he had changed it. That's his channel name. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate you. I'm doing okay. I am. Nothing really has changed a whole lot for me on my health end of it right now. But my wife also, and all those things that have been going on in my life, nothing really much has changed yet. So we'll just play that by ear. Oh, Mark. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so anybody that was over on Marf and they come over and sneak in here, thank you. But go check out the lifeboat. We did a really good live stream tonight, too. Anybody in my chat can drop that link also to the lifeboat, please. But anyway, Verte does a really good job of explaining the ins and outs of what we're looking at here. I have a basic knowledge of this, and that's all that I have. But I do know everything I said there is absolutely documented truth, fact, okay, as far as how it can affect us. So, that's what I would say. That's right, Tommy. Exactly. So, I got a couple of emails, and I honestly, I don't know where this is coming from. Every so often this happens, and what I'm saying is I started getting emails about how we had this crazy thing happening on the Schumann Resonance tool every day right around the same time. So, and I'm, these spikes and stuff, they were questioning, what's causing these things. And they're wondering, what is this? And they were saying it's like, I guess, unknown is the word they used, I believe, in the email. Well, guys, I don't think it's probably not unknown, and this is just my opinion, right? If you were to go back in the historic data of this for the past, week or so, we've seen a steady increase, right, in the frequency here, or the actual intensity of this. And if you look down here, it is happening at the same time every day. There's a block of time from about 10 UTC to right around 18 or 19, sometimes 20 UTC. And it happens, it's starting and stopping roughly around the same time. And if you go back a few days, you'll see the same pattern. And the first thing I'm going to say here is this is a regional tool. This tool right here is in Russia. This tool cannot tell you, if you live in the United States, what your Schumann resonance is vibrating at. It cannot do that. There are multiple stations around our planet that monitor this. You can get tools yourself to monitor this in your backyard. And it really should be done that way. Okay, because, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I do think, because, when you get the bigger stuff happening, typically it is like a global disruption. I guess I could use that word, disruption. But what I'm saying is, yeah, it's a repeating cycle, John, but listen to what I'm getting ready to say. That, the same time block of time, and people were asking, well, where's it coming from, Mark? Where's it coming from? Guys, this is coming from space weather. How can I say that? Right? That's probably your next question. Well, if you look at the time frame, it's 10 UTC. Remember, this is local stuff. Right? So, when this tool, where the actual station where this is at, is facing the sun, in other words, it's daytime, that's when these spikes are happening. It's because it's facing, where this part of the planet is facing the sun at that time. It's really that simple. Okay, that's your answer. It's because we're facing the sun, and guess what? The sun, here lately, has been picking up in X-ray production, which is telling you that there's more sunspots, which is telling you that there's more space weather coming from the sun during the daytime where we're facing it. If you were to take this Schumann Resonance tool right here, and you compared it to somebody, I don't know, like I said, this is in Russia, like over where we're at. If somebody had one from over here, these same spikes would be occurring, but they're most likely going to be about 12 hours apart because we're on the other side of the planet. And then we would be facing the sun at that time. So, in my opinion, that's where this is coming from. Okay? So, I hope that, I had like 3 people email me and asking me about that. So, I don't really know. Hopefully, it helps people. That's just my opinion. I could be completely, utterly wrong. But when I've seen this before, now I would be sitting here talking to you a little bit different if this time stamp, if the time block here was actually happening during the night. Because then we got to have a conversation. Because it most definitely is coming from somewhere else. So, yeah, Bible prophecy, definitely, that is something that, we've been getting UVC on the planet, guys. And I know, thanks, Tommy. And I know that that's a concern for people. UVC is not supposed to hit the surface naturally. So, thank you, Schumann. Appreciate you. But yeah, so when we get UVC at the planet or on our surface, it was thought that couldn't even happen until just a few years ago. And Mr. MBB3 is the first place I seen reported on it. And he did an awesome job with that. He had detectors, he had a system set up, and he was using other people, sending him readings and stuff. And we started picking up UVC on the surface. We shouldn't be able to do that. So that's telling you right there that something is different. Whatever it is, we can talk about that. Most likely it's because our atmosphere is changing. And that's probably actually what's causing our sun to look a little bit of a different color now too. Okay, it's gonna affect that. So, all that stuff plays together in my opinion. And but I do agree. I was working lawn care for a while, and most definitely I've seen some weird stuff with vegetation in the past few years. I can't deny that. It's most certainly what it is. So, yeah, BK, our magnetic field is weakening. You're right. That's documented also. So whether you think we're going into a full pole reversal or an excursion, to me that doesn't matter because the result is pretty much the same. So I'm not going to get into that conversation tonight. It's a long one. Okay. But anyway, guys, I hope that kind of cleared up where this stuff is coming from. And again, it's just my opinion at the end of the day, really, truly. But anyway, so if we go over here to NOAA Space Weather Prediction, we had I'm going to zoom in on this one because I think this was interesting to me. I want to show this to you. See that? That's a double flare. That's a flare and then nothing and then flare again. And I think they came from 2 different areas of the sun. So that's why you kind of seen 2 separate spikes there. And unfortunately, some of the satellites weren't giving us data. And again, I wouldn't even really much talk about that unless it was more than one. We had a couple satellites at the same time that weren't giving us data that I could find. Now, the SDO is now back up, and they came out and told us why they weren't getting data. It was because of some technical stuff here on the ground. The data's there, they just got to recover it. So they're working on that now, and we're getting some of it, and that's why I'm here showing you this now. Because also, this right here is why I said the sun in my thumbnail, sun has turned its eye on us. Look at that. If I was to block that out and stick it in a Lord of the Rings episode, it would look exactly like that. I was cracking up when I seen that. Because that's exactly what the all-seeing eye from Lord of the Rings looks like, right? That's why I named it that. But this coronal hole here is definitely open. The corona of the sun's open, exposing the surface, and it's allowing charged particles to flow out. We're connected to it. This is going to impact us here in the next day or two. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that too, Mark. The scale used to be 0 to 10. There for a while, we were getting readings up into 15, and that was kind of unheard of for a long time. And you would think that would be coming from like the equator. It was, like where Mr. MBB3, I think he's in Arizona. But we were picking up readings of 12 to 15, like in Pennsylvania and places like that. So, yeah, something isn't normal there. Again, it's not like a catastrophic data point or anything. It's just something else we need to pay attention to in case stuff does happen. But anyways, we got this right here. It's going to flow through. Going to do what it does. We're going to get space weather. It is what it is, right? Are we going to get a geomagnetic storm? Don't know. I don't think so. We might. They're forecasting a KP of 4. You guys can see right here on the 8th. We probably connected to this coronal hole, I don't know, a day or two ago, probably a day ago when it was over here. And we'll stay connected to it till it kind of rotates on through. Okay? Thanks for me speaking. Appreciate you. Mark's my brother, man, for real. Him and Dex, I got nothing but respect for those guys. I mean, they really, yeah, awesome people. Okay, so let's go look at the SDO. Well, let me show you this first. This is a different satellite. This is on SOHO, right? So let me start this time lapse. And SOHO is the same perspective as SDO. It's just a little closer to the sun. It's about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. But it's roughly our same perspective. It's a little bit off to our left, if you want to think in terms of left and right. But it's pretty much straight on. So let me play this for you and watch what happens. Are you guys catching any of that? Let me slow it down. Okay, just look at that for a second. Now, what this tool does, this is a coronagraph. It's trying to detect where the CMEs are. Okay, and it's picking up some stuff. Right? Now, don't worry about that thing that shot straight across the screen. That is something that happens a lot. That's most likely just charged particles shooting through. Okay? We don't, number one, even if it was something like physical there, we could never even tell the distance between the satellite and whatever shot through there, so we wouldn't even know how big it was. If that thing was like out by the sun, and let me see what it does here. Let me pause it. Okay. And here's a good way for me to explain why I think it's coming from like charged particles shooting through there. This occulter disc is an actual disc on the camera. If this was an internal flaw of the camera, and if I'm wrong here, I apologize, this line should be showing up here also, if that makes any sense. So whatever this thing was, if it was anything, and most likely, again, it's probably just charged particles shooting that direction. I guess it could have been a small meteorite or what have you, but these happen often. But if it was inside the camera, this would show up right through this occulter disc also, and it's not. So it's telling me that it's at least past the occulter disc. Okay? But after that, I can't give you a distance on it. Whatever this was didn't show up on any other satellite. If it's a big deal, it's going to show up on multiple satellites. Okay? So that's just kind of what I would say. Yeah. But, so that's shooting across there. Just don't worry about that. But back to this. Is that going backwards? Okay, it's going forward. You're going to see it's jumping around. Why is it jumping around? Well, it's missing data. This is not the same satellite I just told you was down. This is a different satellite. Now, it's interesting to me, and again, it's probably just coincidence, and I would probably just chalk it up to that. But I do want to talk about it a little bit because SDO is missing. Well, we haven't seen the data from this section on the other satellite either. If the data is there, they're trying to recover it, and hopefully they do. And maybe we can, put this to bed and just say, hey, was no big deal. And I'm not making a big deal about this anyway, but there is the start of an eruption there at the start of the day on the 5th. Okay? So, and you see how it jumps like 12 hours? If you look at the timestamp here, Okay? Now, let me show you this. Okay, this is something else that, and again, I don't usually go this deep into this because I don't like to do this. But, yeah. This is another satellite. This is stereo A. And we're not getting data from that same time frame either. So I don't know what's going on. Okay? I'm not trying to claim I know anything here, any of that. But now we have 3 satellites missing similar data, or timestamps missing the same similar data. So I don't know what's going on with this. And again, I'm not trying to sow a seed of whatever in somebody's brain, but that is odd to me. Now, I went and I looked at other stereo A. Now, okay, this is just a coronagraph. So let me clarify something though. Let me go to here, and we can go to the same satellite, right? And we can look at stereo A. Okay, this is on the extreme ultraviolet, which is what this is. This is stereo A, the satellite I just showed you. Now that says 520. So on the 5th at 20, we had a capture here. And we'll see what it. Now see, look. See, this is where I start having issues, guys. I hate doing this because it really sounds like something crazy is going on here. And I'm not trying to say it is. Please don't think that. I just don't know what to think here. You guys make up your own mind. I'm showing you what I see. Okay, this is the 4th. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so this capture here is the same one from this satellite. Okay, and again, this data may be out there somewhere. I just thought I haven't been able to find it. So this one is starts about 1300, right? So if we go back over here to the same satellite, see this right here? Watch when it starts missing data. It's missing the same data. So I know it's not the website. That's what I'm trying to push away. This is ISWA. This site right here has absolutely nothing to do with this site. So there's data collection problem, is what I'm trying to say. Now, whether or not, it's an issue or not, I don't know. But it just is extremely odd to me that these 3 satellites are missing similar data. That's all I'm saying. And I can't point to anything other than we've had eruptions. I know that. Because, again, here on LASCO C2, you can see it. When this eruption happened, that's when it started missing time. Okay? So there's one other place I think we need to check. I haven't checked it yet. It's here. Okay? So if we go here and we look at the timestamps, you see this? The last capture it got was that. And then the next time frame is this one. Same stuff. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to read into that. You guys can do what you need to do with what you think you believe. I just wanted to show that to you because that is pretty odd. Rip, you're awesome. Anyway, I just wanted to show that to you guys. I mean, honestly, it's just really, really strange to me. And if I can get that data somewhere else and you guys know where I can get it, please tell me. I want to go look. I even went over to the European Space Agency and went over there to look, which I usually don't do. And I couldn't find some of the data was missing on some of that stuff too. So, I don't know what else to say to that, guys. I wish it wasn't like that. I guess I could say that. But I just think it's odd. So, what else? Again, that corona hole's hitting, but check this out. Okay, remember me telling you guys about, in my last video, about that big, huge solar prominence that was up here? Well, that thing erupted. Well, it kind of it's rotating in, and it's not there anymore. You see it? It's not there. I don't even think it's in front of the sun, and I think I figured out why. So if you go over here to spaceweather.com, and I'm not going to go into their videos here, okay? Go over here, give them some love, show them some love, come check them out. But you see this says SDO is back, data restored. Well, the data is restored, but we're missing some of it. Okay, but then they go on to talk about this large solar prominence, and I'm only going to show you this one thing because that's the only way I can explain it to you. I think this came from somebody's backyard, believe it or not. You can do this in your own backyard. I know you guys probably don't think that's possible, but that's what people do. They put a sun filter on this thing and they look. That's that big solar prominence. Hey, the guy, what's up? So, you can see how it's starting to break up. And that's why. I think it erupted, whether or not, or it might have just fell back to the surface of the sun. I'm not sure. One of the two happened there, and at least from what I'm seeing. So I wanted to show that to you because, and again, I don't even like showing that. And the reason why is because, again, these guys did the work. Please go check them out. Even though I showed it to you, please go look at it over there also. Read up on it a little bit. But this is what happened right here when the data started coming back in. This is SDO. Okay, and I'll show you kind of the depth of this prominence up here. If you guys can see this, where my cursor is. Okay, you see that? Remember me commenting on how tall that was? It looks like it fell apart. See it all fall back down to the surface? It's going up right there because I was moving backwards. So let me go forward. See it falling back down to the surface? And it really didn't like erupt out. So I think most of that stayed on the sun. Now I could be wrong. Again, like I said, that there's another active area down here. So that this eruption right here, this one I showed you, I think that it came from one of those two areas. Get back to that. Right there. Sig, you're awesome, man. You're going to lose Netflix. Oh, wow. I needed that laugh, brother. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Jerry? Ricky, what's happening? Hey, I look forward to seeing some more of them. You need to be posting that trip you went on. I seen the first one. Guys, you guys hadn't gone up there. She's been posting like 1 or 2 minute video of some of her summer antics. But it was really pretty what she had there. Awesome, dude. Awesome, Sig. Anyway, let's get moving here. But if you see this, see the angle of it. It doesn't really look like it came from up here. So it looks to me like it's probably from down here. But then we get this other eruption. And I'm going to take you over here to ISWA to show you this one because the definition is better. So let me zoom in here. And honestly, guys, this one I'm getting ready to show you, it's fairly impressive, I have to say. It's right here. It was on my thumbnail. I'm sure you guys realize that already, but so it's going to be right here. So we'll just and that's the other thing, guys. Listen to what I'm saying here. You see that vibration? And then shortly after that, we lose data for it. So I don't know what's happening with that. I don't get it, but whatever. The data's back, so, you know. So here we go. It's right here, obviously. Check out this eruption, man. I thought it was cool. And I'm going to go slow with it. See, that's, yeah, glitching still a little bit. But see that? Okay? And that's all we got. That's up to date. This just happened. Well, I'll tell you what, let me refresh it. We might have a couple more images I can show you. Let's see what happens on that end. Let's see if we can catch some more of this. See if it gives us anything else. Okay, it erupted. And it looks like that's all it had. Okay, because you can see it end. The rest of it, whatever didn't eject out, you can actually see it fall back to the sun. Okay, it's erupted out. Whatever left the sun there. And then you see, it fell back down to the surface, whatever was left. And I say fall. It's not really falling, guys. It's a magnetic connection line, right? And you got particles that are charged, so they have a direction because of the charge. Negative gets attracted to positive. Positive gets attracted to negative. That gives it its direction of which way it's moving. Okay. Now gravity absolutely has an effect on this too. Okay. But the initial movement is going to come from that charge. The attraction to either positive or negative, or even just from the energy of an eruption on the sun. That's how it even leaves the sun at all. So, yeah. But we also had an eruption over here. I'll show you that one too. Now, this one here, I think is showing up on the CME tracker. Okay. Before I show you the CME tracker, you see how it kind of sticks up like that? I do think some of that left the sun, and I'll show it to you here in a minute. But I want to show you the 171, because this is actually where I first seen it, right here. I'm going to refresh it as I refresh my palette here with some Coca-Cola. But, this is interesting to me. It really is, because I really wish that you didn't have 3 satellites missing data at the same time. And I'm using that missing data phrase just so you guys understand what I'm saying. But it might not be missing. It might still be there. They just need to recover it. Okay, that does happen. So, and there's really no way for me to be like, hey, this, that, or the other. But check out this eruption here on the 171. It's just looking at that angstrom, okay? And away we go. You can see it start to move there. See that? See the different look that you can get from looking at a different frequency on the light spectrum? That's what this is doing. It's filtering out every other light frequency but the 171. Okay, and what's visible to our human eye on the overall total spectrum is extremely small. That's why, we can't see in the infrared. That's why we have infrared tools. We can't see in extreme ultraviolet, which is what this is. Okay, so that's why. I hope if anybody didn't understand what's going on and why they picked this stuff, that's why. You can see certain things easier and better. Yeah, John, you're right. And something else I want to point out, guys, I talked about that X100 flare. They did that study, and I'm going to mention it again because I think it's important. That study is saying that within the next 30 years, we have a 70% chance, according to whatever their study is, that we could be getting hit with an X100 flare. And again, I have to put that in perspective and let you guys know that the Carrington event, I believe, was what, John, you might know what that one was, John in the Spirit. Was it X39 or something? I believe that's what it was. So we're talking like, yeah. And when you get to a higher level of a flare, each step up is exponential. It's not just going up the same amount of power each time. It's going up stronger and stronger and stronger. It's yeah. So, and if anybody don't know what the Carrington event was, it fired off the sun in 1859, and it was frying telegraph lines. It was people's handsets were catching fire. How'd you like to be on the telephone, guys, and your sucker just catches fire in your hand? So when people tell me that space weather doesn't matter, you might want to go look at the thing, George. Yeah, George, I haven't heard from Scott in a minute. I know that he took his wife, Dr. Albers, down to Florida and was getting a bone marrow, I believe, or some sort of bone marrow procedure because she has that mercury poisoning. And, guys, when people are going through rough stuff like that, I don't bug people, okay? It's just not the time to do it, right? So I won't do that, And he came back for a few and did a few videos, and I'm telling you, he's probably just busy trying to do life, guys. I think he's okay from the way I can understand it. But just to give you guys a little update, I really don't have a good update for you because I haven't talked to him in a while. Hey Jerry, what's happening, man? So yeah, George, what I could say to you guys, if you're wondering, just go over to his YouTube channel, and I think his email's in the description box. Email him. That's what I would do. But yeah, so check it out on the 171. I just think it's pretty cool. And I know I've kind of stretched this live stream out. How long are we? 42? Okay, we're going to go ahead and speed up here a little bit. Because I don't like to push it out much further than that. People don't like to watch if it's longer than that. Tommy will tell you. You get past an hour, man, people just don't even click on the video. It's amazing how that's like a threshold for people when they're watching YouTube. Anyway. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, somebody asking about that? Sorry, I was reading the chat, guys. Yeah, wish I had that link. Man, go back and watch, I think it was 2 videos ago, guys. I talk about that. And I didn't go any more into it tonight, but I'll tell you this, that the more time that passes, the more the chances of us receiving a big flare like that increases. And to put it in perspective, this one study, now I'm just talking about this one paper, guys. Like I said, a lot of times these people have different opinions. So, yeah. But what I've seen in this journal paper, that it definitely looked pretty legit, and they really, really did do some, good work there, in my opinion. But within the next 30 years, they're saying like a 70% chance of us getting that big flare like that. And then if you go out 100 years, you guys know what the chances of us is of getting that? 99%. That's what this study said. And this is, again, I have to say this. This is not me saying it. This is not Joe Blow, YouTuber, grabbing something out of the air and telling you about it. This is a legitimate study. Okay? So, when we tell people, and we get accused of like fear-mongering and stuff, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm simply just showing it to you. Giving you a source. You guys can go look at it and make up your own mind. But when you hear those numbers, I'm not scared of this thing at all. 100% I'm not scared of it. Why am I not scared? Because I know it's possible, and most likely at this point, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Yeah, you got a chance there, man. Small one. So yeah, and him, it's kind of shocking, right? And guys, one that size, let me put this in perspective too. Typically, when we know the X-ray gets here in 8 minutes, right? It leaves the sun, gets here in 8 minutes. When does the CME get here typically? Hey Joe, what's up? Do you mind know? Okay, 3 to 5 days typically. Sometimes 2 if it's a really, really, powerful eruption. You see an X100 flare flop off the sun like that, you know what you're going to see? The X-ray is going to hit, and you're talking within a day, sometimes even a couple hours, is what they think. So, I've said multiple times, if I think it's going to be like a grid down situation, most likely I'm not going to be able to come out here and tell you. Okay? And this is what I mean. And so when we're telling you guys this, because maybe people can do what Seventh Son does and start writing our governments. Listen, we got to shore up our infrastructure if we want a chance. And none of that's being done, at least not to the level that it needs to be. So, and there's things you can do to protect yourself and all that. Mark, Adam, and Dex over on Marfugal, they talk about the generator that they have that runs their show. It's it's an awesome product, by the way. I've actually, me and my wife are getting ready to purchase one, hopefully, if I can get the funds together, which has pushed us back a little bit. But with that being said, that's one of our goals, right? So, but there's other little things you guys can do to keep yourself more comfortable knowing that if something like that was to happen, that you and your family is going to be okay. And if people call you nuts and crazy and stuff, you know what? When that event finally does happen, those people are going to be the first ones at your door wanting your help. Promise. That's why we're looking at this, the one generator that Mark over on iEnergy is the company name. That's why we're looking at that one, because it doesn't make hardly any noise. It doesn't operate. It doesn't operate off of gas. It's solar powered, or you can power it up through your wall. But obviously, you can't do that if the grid's down. But yeah, so that's what I would say, guys. I mean, and I don't usually, like I said, I'm not pushing anything. Everything I just said is my opinion. Okay, but when we're talking about that journal, come on, man. I mean, give me a break. That's legit stuff. It really is. I don't know what else to say on that. But, okay, so this is Geo Electric model. Did I get... Yep. I waited too long to show this to you. Sorry. It's already... this only goes back 2 hours or something. So I can't really show you what was going on. We had a couple little spikes here. Nothing big. This is our magnetosphere. I'll show you this one because, again, there's not really a whole lot going on. This is magnetic pressure. It even looks like it lightened up quite a bit. So, here's a real quick look at the earthquake map. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's going to show it to you because there's really not a whole lot going on as far as big ones right now. And then we'll go, let's see here. Is that it? Oh, the CME tracker. I wanted to show you guys that real quick. You see that right there? Watch right here. A little puff. I think that was that this one. Okay. I can't say for sure, but the one that blew off over here is most definitely not on that CME tracker yet. Okay. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it, see what happens. I do expect some more data to come in here by morning. And, yeah. Hey, Pamela. All right, guys. So that's probably pretty much it for me tonight, guys. Yeah. And thanks, guys, for popping over and checking us out on the lifeboat. I really appreciate it. We've had a couple really good live streams over there. As we came back from our little hiatus and our vacation. Took a break from it for a minute. yeah, thank you for the support over there. Thank you for everything you guys do here. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate you. And guys, I just want, I really want everybody just to have an avenue to get to the information that they want. And what I do here on Space Weather is awesome, and that's why I keep doing it. But there's also another part of me that has other ways that I try to help people with, like addiction. And that's why, that's what we do over on the Lifeboat. And Tommy is very, very knowledgeable about it. He's been through some very crazy stuff. Not going to get into all that. But come check us out over there. We've kind of condensed it down into 5 days now instead of 7. We're working on some other stuff that we're trying to, hey, Brandon, what's up? Texas lady, what's going on? So, hey, surgery, what's going on? What time the CME? I don't think at this point, I can't even say it's going to hit us. Okay. This thing here, back at you, conspiracy. All right. So this thing here, even though it looks like, because this is Earth facing, it does look like it's, shooting down. Okay, question. The sun is rotating. We are rotating around the sun in the same direction, clockwise or counterclockwise. Don't mean to sound, no, you don't sound dumb. There ain't no dumb. What are you talking about, George? Ain't nobody dumb here. I promise you that. Unless you might be listening to me. That might, I'd be the dumb one. But no, those are good questions. The sun is rotating. Yes, it is rotating. If you're looking at it from our perspective, left to right, just like we do. No, let's see here. Left to right would be, yeah, counterclockwise. So if you're looking from the north, and that's exactly how we do it too. So, yeah. And you'll find that if you look out through even multiple other solar systems, and most of the planets will spin the same direction as their parent star. Okay? And yes, I know that the majority of systems out there are binary systems, which means that there's two suns, or two stars, I should say. And a lot of them are trinary. They got 3. I think there's even more. Some have more. So what I'm saying is yes. And believe it or not, George, that rotation that you're talking about of the sun, when you're looking at the sun, the northern and southern hemispheres, the equator section, the equatorial section of the sun, rotates faster than the poles. This is one reason why we see sunspots in the areas that we do. Okay, because remember, the sun has a north and a south pole. When that pole flip happens, roughly around every 11 years, that means things, go backwards, right? Not the rotation, okay? In other words, the polarity changes. So when that polarity changes, it causes the sunspots to have a different magnetic signature as far as their polarity. They will actually start presenting the opposite direction. And that's how you know that one sunspot is part of one solar cycle, like when the solar cycle is starting to change to the next one, or if it's not. So, but there are anomalies to that. We get about 3% of sunspots that actually have the reverse polarity of whatever sun cycle it's in. And I'm sure there's some scientific reasons for that. I don't know if they've really done a whole lot of study on that. I'm not sure if it matters a whole heck of a lot. But because the equator rotates faster, if you positive, negative, you got field lines. It's like a bar magnet, right? So as the sun cycle progresses, instead of having a straight connection, what happens? The equatorial region is rotating faster, so you start seeing this. Okay? And then as things progress in that sun cycle, it becomes almost horizontal completely. That's why right now, do you see any sunspots in the equator area? No. The sunspots are here and here. And as we progress into the solar cycle, they will migrate towards the equator. And then you have the termination event, and that's when they flip. And it starts that whole cycle over again. And the sunspot, just a really basic explanation, is that magnetic connection line. It's a disruption in that line, but it's like a kink. If you take a rubber band and you pull it and twist it a little bit, and you just keep twisting it, every once in a while you'll get a little, like, looks like a little loop that sticks up in the middle of it where it like kinks. That's exactly what's happening here. That's a sunspot, just with magnetic conditions. So anyway, I know that was kind of a long explanation and pretty quick. I hope I didn't confuse anybody there. It's hard to articulate that in a way that everybody can understand it, but look into it, okay? Tam the Scope does a really, really good job over on her channel too, explaining that. So go check out her channel also. But yeah, so I'm going to pop off, guys. I know I said that a minute ago, but had to answer George's question. Hope that helped, George. All right, guys. Yeah, I am getting out of here. So God bless. All right, Tommy, I got you, man. Saints Hope, good to see you. Hey, Nita, Gypsy. All right, guys, I am getting out of here. God bless. Yahusha saves, and yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid.